this passing game could be potent. So, but anyway, you ready to get in some PFF grades, Tim?
Let's do it.
All right, man. Let's dive into it again, guys. Full disclaimer here. When it comes to PFF grades, we're not saying that it's the gospel. Okay, it's another tool we can use. And I know y'all, the regulars, get tired of hearing me say that, but this is just a way. What I love doing is looking at the grades, watching the tape, and see if they line up. And some of it, sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. They give you a little spoiler alert. Down here toward the bottom, you've got Taylor Elgersma with a 52.4 on 37 snaps, right? I watched the tape, and I thought Taylor Elgersma played damn good. I have no idea why they had him graded so low.
They don't know either.
They probably don't. And again, all it would take is, hey, underneath the hood, here are the plays we graded. Here's why we graded them at this level. But they obviously don't take the time to do that. So that's why people are skeptical when it comes to PFF. Is because it's like this kind of feels like sometimes you guys just go, you're eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You go, that's good enough right there. Let's just give him, it looks like 61. Let's give him a 60. Yeah. So I guarantee you that is.
We know they didn't watch all the snaps. We know that for sure.
Right. So anyway, here are your top offensive players. According to PFF, they're week 2 in the preseason against the Indianapolis Colts. Number 1, Johnny Lumpkins, 77.7. Let's go. Ben Sims, 76.0. Lasita Smith, only 15 snaps, but still 75.7. And this, to me, is the hero of the day. Jordan Morgan, left tackle, 25 snaps, 74.6 was this PFF grade. And I know some people may see that and go, okay, Clayton, it's one game. This is the point, guys. Look at the season he's putting together. And I know it's preseason, but 76.5 with an 88 PFF grade last week. And then this week, 74.6 with an 88.2 pass blocking grade. But more importantly, the run blocking grade, 66.9, 64.9. That's really, really stable. That's really exciting to me that he's showing that he can run block as well. So that's the big one that stood out to me. Amar Johnson continues to perform, 20 total snaps. He graded out with a 72.2. Julian Hicks, 58 snaps. Boy, they gave Julian Hicks every possible way to make this team yesterday, and he played pretty darn good, man. 72.1. The tape looked like it matched up as well. Same thing.
Another name we keeps popping up from time to time. He flashed a little bit towards the end of camp last year as well. So Julian Hicks in a crowded receiver room is he's standing out and flashing continually. Good to see it.
Then you got Cornelius Johnson, a 70.7. How about Kadeem Telford, 70.1. Will Shepard, only 15 snaps, but 69.1. And then Sean Ryan, let's go to the 65 mark. Sean Ryan, 67.6. Tyrion Davis Price, 66.2, only 6 snaps. Izzy Abanikanda, 66. McCole Hardman rebounded last week, or this week, I should say, with the 65.4. Go ahead.
As predicted, right? As we predicted, he was going to have a better performance. Yeah. No need to panic, right? That was great to see, man. He looked pretty good.
I agree, man. I agree. So the big thing that sticks out to me here, Jordan Morgan, guys, this is a legit, and Matt LaFleur confirmed it earlier today. I want to say that maybe Steno did as well. There's a left tackle position battle going on right now. And I know some media members roll their eyes at it and they don't think it's actually happening. It's happening. It's happening right now. And, we always say you can't make the club in the tub. Well, you don't get that roster spot. You don't get that starting roster spot, that starting lineup spot. If you're banged up through camp and somebody takes that job from you. You don't believe me? Ask Don Mikowski. Don Mikowski goes down with one bad injury. Brett Favre never gave that job back to him. There's many examples throughout the history of sports where people got Wally pipped, right? So it's just something that happens. However, looking at the positive side, Jordan Morgan, man, Tim, I broke down the tape earlier today, and we'll probably get into that tomorrow. Man, his footwork is smooth as butter, dude. And to me, he looks like he's a better run blocker than Rasheed Walker. Only 2 preseason games at left tackle, but man, oh man, he may not win the left tackle job, Tim. But the thought of him having to kick back to right guard, let Rasheed play this year out at left tackle, and then in-house your left tackle of the future is already here, that's really exciting to me, man.
I agree. I really do. I mean, you see a guy grading out in the mid to high 80s in the pass block and then pushing 70s in the run blocking. if he can consistently do that, which so far it seems like he's putting together consistent performances these past couple of weeks. I think you're absolutely right. I think that's certainly the plan, kind of the writing on the wall here, giving him all these reps, and I love it. And it shouldn't be a big shocker, right? The dude is a pure left tackle. You know, them kicking him to guard is just trying to get him on the field, right? Trying to get the best 5 out there. You know, you drafted this guy in the first round, you want him to see the field, right? But at the end of the day, I think we all know Jordan Morgan's capable of playing left tackle. It's just when is he going to get that spot, right?
Yeah, and Coach Lynn
She's still out with the back, right? He's got a back issue or something.
Yeah. And okay. I don't want to make any assumptions, Tim, but I don't know why. And I have no sources for this whatsoever, but just something. The fan in me has me kind of looking at that, going, is he kind of keeping himself out a little bit because he doesn't have the contract and now he's having to compete at left tackle? I have no reason to believe that's true. I'm just saying, I'm being completely transparent and honest. That's how I feel a little bit in the background, like he's almost sulking a little bit, but I could be wrong. I could be totally. Yeah. You've seen him up close and personal there at practice, right there on the sideline.
I was there when Tupac Lafleur made him run a lap, and he was not happy.
So, like in that situation right there, right, that kind of, again, kind of leans toward what I'm feeling too, right? Does it not? Like he's
clearly not happy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's disgruntled, whatever you want to call it, pick an adjective. And you're right. Maybe it has nothing to do with the contract. Maybe it has nothing to do with the competition. Maybe his back is sore and he's pissed that he can't be on that field to secure his starting spot. You know, there could be any number of these things, and there could be a little truth to all of it. So, you know, we don't have any inside baseball, but I think you're right, Clayton. There's something ain't right there, man. Something's not right over there.
Yeah, Coach Lynn makes a great point, man. He says, I think Telford makes the squad. You know, Coach, that kind of crossed my mind as well. When you look at Telford here, they had him, according to PFF, they had him playing left guard, right? 70.1 is solid. Look at that run blocking grade, 82.8, right? And we've seen Kadeem Telford play tackle in the past, you know, kind of be that one of those backup tackles. And when you look at, you know, what he's done here, last week, not so good, obviously, at 57.5. He rebounded this week. Looks like he played left guard predominantly the last 2 weeks if they had that snap count right. But when you look at the past years here in the preseason, Tim, 53.4, 58.7. This year, it looks like he took a little bit of a step forward. And I mention that because Jacob Monk is the guy that I feel like has really struggled so far. Yeah. When you look at him, and again, he's played multiple positions. They tried him at center with the third stringers, I think it was. They tried him at left guard with the 2s and the 3s sometimes. They tried him at right guard with the 2s and the 3s. He struggled, man. I mean, he rebounded this week, 63.4 isn't, you know, it's not a bad grade, but last week, 53.3. His pass blocking grade this week, man, my gosh, 25.1. You know,
can't have that.
You just can't. And again, when we drafted him, nobody was going, yes, Jacob Monk, that dude's a stud. We immediately heard he had been like a 3 or a 4 year captain when he was at Duke. That was the big thing to hang your hat on. Is like, this dude's a high quality teammate type guy. And if you're talking about that and not talking about the play, maybe he's kind of got an uphill battle here when it comes to that. And if that's the case, that's how I can see what Coach Lynn's saying. He says, I think Telford makes the squad. And you got a guy that's been around for a little bit. He's worked with Steno. He's worked with Butkus, and he understands the offense. And maybe he steps into what they were hoping Jacob Monk could do, and Jacob Monk lands on the practice squad type thing. Does that make sense? Because Sean Ryan, the other piece here, and I'll let you get your take, Tim. Sean Ryan, 67.6, 25 snap, playing center. He is our backup center right now, man. And he seems like he's getting pretty damn good at it, Tim. He does.
Yeah, kind of by necessity, right? Because everyone else we've put there and tried kind of hasn't really shown much. And obviously if you know, Sean's going to possibly lose that starting right guard spot to Jordan Morgan here. You know, having him as your backup center, that makes me feel pretty good. We've seen him do it before, you know. It's just getting that chemistry. You know, it's kind of tough with Jordan now because he's got the thumb injury. And, you know, I wonder how many reps he's really gotten in with Elton at center, let alone Sean Ryan. So I do feel good that he would be the backup, though, because I do think we have depth at the guard position, and we wouldn't be leaning on Sean Ryan to play right guard so much for us.
Yeah, definitely. So again, those are just some of the top performers here on PFF. If you're a member of our Patreon community, you've got access to this. As soon as they come out, I try to throw them up over there. So you got a full breakdown over there at patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. Moving along just to a couple more offensive players before we jump over to the defensive side of the ball. Let's focus on a little bit of the negative here for just a second. Anthony Belton, 62 snaps. Tim, he had 5 penalties, bro. I don't know if you caught wind of this, but I think it was two or three of the penalties where he was lined up off sides or whatever they call it, illegal formation, where he's off the line too much. I'm not worried about that. The other two is kind of like, boy, this is tough. This is tough because it's obvious they're putting emphasis on that whole lineman lining too far off the line of scrimmage type thing, off because they're supposed to be on the line of scrimmage, right? But yeah, he had a rough day at the office. And again, it doesn't mean that Anthony Belton's not going to be a great player. Last week, we were raving over him, 65.9, run block grade of 73.2. He was stacking pancakes last week, right? A lot of fun. But again, you're seeing a trend. Last week, 2 penalties. This week, 5 penalties, right? So just something to keep our eye on there. Feels like this week, according to Matt LaFleur, too, because he was, kind of talking about the mistakes a little bit when they asked him about it. Belton, slight step back. But you got Jordan Morgan continuing to ascend, right? And that's kind of how that looks like that's shaking out right there. And that's the beautiful thing too. If for some reason, Anthony Belton, it's not going to click the first year. I'm not saying that's the case, but let's say that were to be the story of Anthony Belton's rookie year in the league. It's not the end of the world. Now you got to look at, all right, who's the backup right tackle? Because as it sits right now, you're going to have, and maybe that's Sheet. Maybe they say, hey, if Jordan Morgan beats Rasheed Walker out at left tackle, maybe Rasheed Walker becomes that swing tackle, and he's a backup right tackle as well. I have no idea. So what do you think? Anything else you want to add here? Like I said, that was one of the negatives there that stood out to me. And also Donovan Jennings has continued to struggle a little bit as well. So
I think with big Escalade there, Mr. Belton, it's just a rookie trying to figure out how to play at this level. I wouldn't panic too much. Obviously, you don't want to see it, right? Learn how to line up correctly, please. Don't false start. Don't line up on the ball or in the neutral zone. If it keeps happening, then you've got to address it. But I think the more mistakes you make as a rookie, the more opportunities you have to learn and to get better. And very rarely do guys, especially offensive linemen, are they able to come in and just be perfect right away. I think we all knew Anthony Belton was going to be raw and be kind of a project, but you have a high upside. You have a 0 or very high ceiling on a player like that. So I'm willing to be a little bit patient. I'm not happy. You're right. Those numbers do not look good. That's not NFL quality tackle play at all by any stretch of the imagination. But it's the second week of the preseason. So let's just kind of pump the brakes on the shade for big Escalade. I think he'll play his way out of it.
And that's the thing I said on the post-game show yesterday, Tim, is if you remove the penalties, and I know that's a big if, but if you remove the penalties and you look at what he did blocking-wise, he looked like he blocked pretty well to me. And we'll see, though. But the penalties are, man, they're a big thing, obviously. It's